This is Say More with Carla Pesono. Today we have one of New Orleans' most respected restaurateurs and a leader in one of the city's most iconic hospitality families in the world. Founder of the Dickie Brennan Company Restaurant Group, Dickie Brennan. Welcome to Say More.
God, I'm embarrassed.
Why?
I can't believe you say all that.
Well, isn't that so cool that is you and your family?
A bunch of Irish immigrants that came and lived the American dream.
And did something
Still
right.
living.
Still doing it.
Yeah,
You stay busy.
It's been good to us.
Yeah, you stay busy, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
How do you do it?
Trying to slow up a little bit.
Yeah. Wait, what's up with you? I like your shoes. Because you got some Crocs on?
Yeah, it's my Crocs.
Those look like Rolls Royce of Crocs.
They look nice.
They look nice.
God, I'm glad I wore socks.
Yeah, we don't want stinky feet up in here.
Oh, no.
Okay, so you've been staying so busy. So talk about what's been going on with you.
Recently?
Yeah.
Just a lot of the same stuff. I mean, it's so different post this COVID.
Yeah,
I mean, our
is.
world's so different.
It's so different.
So I'm really trying to adjust to it, and
because you have how many? List the restaurants for people that don't know.
So first one I was involved in is Mr. B's that my cousin Cindy runs, and then I was over in Houston in the '80s. We have a Brennan's there for about 4 years, doing a little tour of duty, and then I came home to open up Palace Café, and my cousin T, my sister Lauren, my cousin Brad, everybody joined in, and we opened Palace 30-something years ago, which right now we had to close. And, there'll be another chapter of Palace Cafe, but unfortunately it's in the courts because we weren't agreeing on how we had the rights to buy the building at the end of the lease, and we're kind of not agreeing on that. So hopefully it'll work out.
Yeah, what's happening with that? So was it so sudden and unexpected, and you guys were not wanting that?
No, I mean we, it's a large old New Orleans family, and when we were originally doing the deal, our intention was we don't want to go in and restore a building. I mean it had asbestos, not up to code. We didn't want to make that investment, not own it, and then we agreed that we would buy it at the end of a lease because they had a lot of family members, very sentimental to them. Werlein's music store was the oldest store in America when they were kind of at the end of that kind of.
Oh, I didn't realize that's what it was before?
Yeah, Werlein's music store, great history. So, I mean, so we agreed to, look, all right, we'll buy it at the end. So, I mean, there wasn't a day I walked in the building I didn't think it was mine. I mean, I treated it like that, and then in the last year we said, our intentions, as the lease said, we want to buy, and so we started the process, and it was, their valuation is based off of things that are different than what we believe it should be, and so So it's in the courts, and it'll work itself out.
Yeah, but is it safe to say that Palace Cafe will reopen?
We have a lot of options. I mean, we could put it in many locations that we've been approached about. But we want to see what pans out with the building. The building,
keep it there. Yeah.
So we trying to be patient, but the court systems take forever. So
yeah.
But So I hope it works out for all of us in the best way that it should.
Yeah, I hope so too. I mean, we got to get it back open. But you got, of course, Dickie Brennan Steakhouse. You got Tableau.
So after I was, we'd opened that for the family. I did it for my dad and his brothers and sisters. I call them the senior generation. They were the investors and my bosses. And then in '97, I started Dickie Brennan Company, and I bought Palace from the family. And asked the guy who had been working with me, help me open Palace, Steve Pettis, and then my sister. So the three of us invested in creating Dickie Brennan Company. And that was in '97. And so the first venture we did was we opened Dickie Brennan Steakhouse a block away from Palace, which
Yeah.
was neat because, it was always, my dad always wanted to open a steakhouse, never had the opportunity. So he had retired when I bought in 97 when I started my company. So it was kind of cool to do something that he and I had always dreamed of doing.
Yeah.
I mean, if we went to a city, we were going to check out every restaurant, but we always hit a steakhouse.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you're Irish.
so
Like meat and potato guys.
I don't, so,
It's also just,
no, I don't know. Steakhouse is its own category.
It is.
And when our family got into the business, we owned the old Absent House on Bourbon Street.
I had no idea about that.
So we were Irish immigrants, lived in the Irish Channel, and we ran a bar on Bourbon Street. Makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah.
Well, that was in the 40s. In the late 40s, across the street on Bourbon Street was the Vieux Carré restaurant, and it had become available. And my dad and his brothers and sisters, they're all like working at the old Absent House. And it was cool. Sweet Emma and Fats Pigeon were the piano players. I mean, it was really a whole different vibe than what I see today, and the stories were just phenomenal. But their patrons were looking for more food, So the family decided, let's open a restaurant. And my dad's oldest sister, Adelaide, which, has been gone for a long time, but everybody knows Aunt Ella, Aunt Adelaide was the oldest sister. And
so it was Adelaide was older than Ella?
Yeah.
Owen
sister was the oldest, then Adelaide, then John, Ella, my dad, and Aunt Dottie.
Oh, my Lord.
So
you guys have a huge family.
Yeah, and they're like 5 years between each kid.
Wow.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
I have a theory, but it's too long.
Yeah, 5 years.
So, and Adelaide's like, we're going to do a restaurant, it needs to be nice. Well, nice in New Orleans, fine dining was French. So, Vieux Carré is right across from Old Absent House. Across the street is Arnaud's. A half a block away is Galatoire's. And around the corner is Antoine's.
Yeah, too much
Three
French.
of the oldest French restaurants in America, run by classically trained Frenchmen. And the Brennans decide, we're going to open a French restaurant right next to in the middle of all that, which we did. And, and we had a 5-year lease. It was going really good. And we go to up the lease, and the landlord says, we need to raise the rent, and I want a piece of the business. Which made us go, well, that's not going to work. So that's when we started looking around, and the Brennans, the pink building on Royal Street, is our second location. Everybody thinks that's the original Brennans, but it wasn't.
So the original was on Bourbon.
Original on Bourbon's, and then for many, it's still there today. Brennan's, my cousin Ralph owns and operates Brennan's on Royal Street.
Yeah.
But all the years, my dad was aggravated being an Irishman, saying he was running a French restaurant. It always drove him crazy. So after years of being, on Wall Street and all that, he kept saying, I'm an American. I'm not an Irish. I'm an American. I want to run an American restaurant. Well, the one thing, hands down, that America, United States, is steakhouses. It's American.
Yeah.
And our beef we can put up against anybody in the world. Now, I mean, this stuff with Kobe beef and Japan is a whole new kind of thing. But in general, Americans, we have the best cattle in the world. So his dream was to be able to open a steakhouse because he was an American. And it never happened. And then I had the opportunity to do it in 97, which was very cool. So that was my second baby. And then not too long after that, they were developing the property on Bourbon and Iberville. And so I always wanted to do a seafood restaurant. And so we opened Bourbon House there. And as a kid growing up, all the Brennans drank scotch. So, you're a kid, you're in high school, you're drinking out of your parents' glass. And so, my cousins were all drinking scotch. And at some point, my dad started telling us, because he liked the way bourbons were evolving. And he said, y'all should drink bourbon, it's American. So that kind of was just
And isn't
growing up, I mean, for years, it was in the back of my mind, bourbon, I need to do bourbon.
But isn't it technically like bourbon really did start here?
So we did things to help it become what it is today.
So you know the history of this.
Yeah,
Okay,
with the
explain it.
barge.
Because I was talking to the head distiller, Luca, over at 7-3 Distillery, and he was explaining it to me because that's why we have Bourbon Street. That's why, but even...
Well, so it's bourbon goes back to the old world, and it's the bourbon family.
Oh.
Like Iberville or Bienville. These are families,
Oh, Bourbon
French
was
families.
a family.
And up in Kentucky, you had Bourbon County, but it was named after the Bourbon family. Bourbon Street was not named after, I mean, it was there, it was existing from the Bourbon family. And
Why did they make that the big street? Like the most famous street?
I would say it, as much as I love history, I would say they named the street because of the family before it even became
What it was.
evolved into what we, what we've seen and what we see today.
But there wasn't anything specific about that street that they were like, let's make this the iconic street of New Orleans.
I think it was more of,
just
when we
happened,
named
evolved.
streets after people,
Yeah.
it was their influence or what they had participation in developing
But you guys
Louisiana,
have
New Orleans.
So Bourbon House has like the huge, like you got how many bourbons you got there?
When,
Over like 300,
when we
right?
opened, and that because of that influence I was saying, and we're going on Burst, I was like, I want to do a seafood restaurant, but I want to feature bourbon, and so when we originally opened, I mean, we did have probably the biggest collection in the South. Nowadays, people will open a bourbon thing in, Texas, Vegas or something. And I mean, it's on steroids or whatever. My goal is not to have the biggest collection. I want to have a great quality collection.
Yeah.
One of the things, when we started it, we would do, I grew up where we would do wine dinners and in the restaurants. And so we'd bring somebody in, and the chef would do multiple courses to go with their wines. So we came up with the idea of doing bourbon dinners. And I don't think we've ever done one that hadn't been sold out. What I've come to find out, bourbon fanatics are in their own category.
Oh, they are.
There was a group that they were in the shipping business, and they were West Coast, maybe even like Seattle, but they had an office in New Orleans. And whenever we did a bourbon dinner, this is years going back when we started them, they were at every one because they would plan their trip to New Orleans to check on the office there whenever we were having a bourbon dinner. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So, and this is right before craft cocktails started getting hot. And so we were making these incredible, like craft bourbon cocktails, pairing it up with food, which it works wonderful. And, and having a lot of success with that. Well, as I'm doing that, you have millions of winemakers in Kentucky, true bourbons. There were maybe a handful of master distillers, the Jimmy Russells at Wild Turkey, the Elmer T. Lee that was Buffalo Trace. There weren't a lot of them. And so I had people like them coming to do the dinners. And then I did one event where there was like 4 of them, Elmer T. Lee, Harlan Wheatley, who's the master distiller now, but he was the underling, traveling with Elmer, hanging out, learning, and Jimmy Russell. Oh God, I've got the worst memory nowadays. So we did the dinner with them. I'll never forget when it finished, and we're just sitting there in the room, and they're like going, "Man, we all grew up together. We've never done stuff like this. No one asked us to go do these." I said, "Well, I hope y'all enjoying it or whatever. I mean, we love having you," which all that was great. And so I was like, "Can y'all sign a barrel, with your brand on it or whatever?" So they all sent me a barrel, and that, I mean, you go now, everybody's got barrel heads with signature. I don't think anybody has the ones I mean, someone that might have more than me, but I have those guys' autographs on whatever. Because we really pioneered. We had some great ideas early on. And at some point, there is one barrel head in the restaurant. We created a bourbon society, which I don't know how many thousands of people we have on. But I was invited to do a fundraiser in Kentucky. And at that point, you know, the Bourbon Society was really growing. I was like, why don't we offer a handful, you know, so we said, let's get a 50 passenger bus. We said, all right, well, we can offer 40 people to come with us because, you know, we're going to go do bourbon the tours and the distillery and all that stuff. And so when the word got out, the governor of Kentucky said, you know, we want to welcome y'all when you get there. So we flew in, all of us, we got on our bus and we go to the mansion so we can have a champagne reception. I'm like, man, we're the Bourbon Society, we're here.
Yeah.
And the governor and his wife wanted to do a champagne. Which they would, it was one, we were so honored they even wanted to tell us hello. And then we went to all these wonderful places and I cooked a dinner and everybody came. But the governor sent, they have it, it's called the Buffalo Trail. The Bourbon Trail. And it's kind of like the Queen of England will put her thing on a tailor, a flower shop, whatever, you know, that she thinks is.
Yeah.
So that's the Bourbon Trail with the governor acknowledging wonderful local businesses.
In Kentucky.
So they gave Bourbon House. They put Bourbon House. We're the only place outside of Kentucky that's on it.
Wow.
But we just were young and bold, or just didn't think we couldn't get away with anything. So, I mean, we really kind of pioneered.
Yeah,
we were really doing craft cocktails we're doing the bourbon dinners. You know, we were taking these distillers and bringing them into making them travel, doing these dinners and connecting them with and, you know, we're in the beginning of where bourbon just kind of caught on fire. So we just, luck of the Irish. So Bourbon House has been real special.
I love Bourbon House. You guys got great barbecue shrimp and the food's great and I love it there.
Well, thank you.
And like promoting it during Bourbon Fest because you guys are part of Bourbon Fest, of course, here, which is one of the best. I mean, our Bourbon Fest beats out records of other Bourbon Fests around the nation, even like Kentucky, because of like the food and, you know, there's so many fun events around the city and Bourbon is just, but it's crazy how many bourbons there are out there now. You know? Huh?
I said New Orleans knows how to set the table.
Totally.
I mean, you know, we're very fortunate, you know. Our culture just, and the people, it all adds up to just, I mean, we do hospitality.
I mean, and the Brennans know hospitality. You guys are pioneered for hospitality. Talk about that growing up, like being part of this family that is literally setting a whole trajectory of restaurants and what hospitality should be in the world.
In our business too, you go into family business all the time and you'll see the son or the daughter or a grandkid in the restaurant, you know, with the family member run. I mean, you can participate at a young age, you know, and everybody thinks it's cute. Now, I'm scarred because back in the 40s, 50s or whatever, when we created Banana Foster, you know, and you have to go do that table side. I mean, my Aunt Ella, my dad, they would, if I was in the restaurant and there was some friend or something, they'd go. I'm like, don't make me do it. I don't want to do it. Don't make me do it. So I'm scarred from having to do Banana Foster since I was very young.
Why? You just never wanted to do it?
I was so shy as a kid. You know, I'm still shy, but I mean, when you have to do, you know, I mean, being in the restaurant, going through the dining rooms and all that, it's, you know, it's like you're on stage. So I've done it for so long, I think I'm over the fear, but so I mean, we were always there, you know. When I was 9, because we lived in the Garden District, and when I was 9, we had the opportunity to buy Commander's Palace. So from that point forward, I mean, you know, if your dad's a basketball coach, you hang out in the gym. Well, hell, I hung out at Commander's Palace. I mean, it was 2 blocks from my house, and I mean, I could go there, and there was so much stuff that happened. The timing of it, I mean, for me, it was unbelievable. You know, when they bought it, it was so run down. I mean, all of our people, attorneys, accountants, they're all like, that place it was very run down. Mr. Moran had passed away, and he was, you know, an older guy, and his wife was in her 80s, and Dad walks over to pay his respects, and she's like, Dick, I don't want to run a restaurant. My kids aren't interested, And he's like, well, we're in the business. We go down the French Quarter. I'll live if you want to sell it, I'd love to talk to you. And everybody said, don't buy it. But 30 days later, we own Commanders. And at the time, Brennan's was so busy, and my dad and Al, they would go down to Brennan's every day.
So what did you see in the building? What did you guys all see that you were like, you know what, even though everyone's saying don't do it, why'd you guys do it?
One, it's called the Garden District, which is one of the oldest neighborhoods in the city with great history. It was almost a 100-year-old restaurant. It was an institute. It just needed some love and some attention. And I don't know, my dad.
So it's like knowing the legacy of what it's going to be.
Right. Well, I think, I don't know. I drive all over and I'll see a property or whatever, and right away I'm designing a concept, what it can look like, how you can knock that down and add this to it.
Did you always have that Did you always have that mindset, or is it being around family that was like that made you like that?
I think it's both. And, if there was someone designing or doing something with creating a restaurant when I was a kid or whatever, that person, a lot of the time my dad would have them come to the house and they'd sit there and have some cocktails and talk about whatever, be after work. And it'd be a Charlie Gresham, who was probably one of the best known decorators in the city. This is a guy that was English, that fought in the World Wars, that was the decorator in New Orleans. And his pal was Charlie Ronicky, one of the best known artists. And Charlie sit there and describe it or whatever, how he wanted the Commander's main dining room to evolve into something different. And Charlie Ronicky would etch it out.
Wow.
I sure wish I could find some of those etchings.
Yeah, where are they?
But the cool thing is my dad wanted us to see this. That's why he'd come home and do it. And I'd sit there as a kid just fascinated with these talented people.
It's amazing.
When my dad was involved in starting Bacchus, and Larry Youngblood, he designed, and certainly back when Blaine Kern was, in the beginning days, he was etching out the floats. Larry Youngblood was designing all the costumes, and I just, as a kid, just remember all those times being able to see that and being fascinated with the creative part of it. And just, it was them wanting to make things beautiful and better than they were and stuff. And
that's got to be so surreal to be like around all these just incredibly talented people, and you're just a sponge, being able to take it all in.
Well, for me, I'm very fortunate and grateful,
right,
that was available.
So growing up with like Commander's Palace, what was your favorite chef to be around?
So when we were on Brennan's on Royal Street, Paul Prudhomme was a busboy.
Oh, so he was the busboy.
He was front of the house.
Oh,
he was a busboy. But he left eventually because he wanted to go cook. So when we, in the 70s, we were at Brennan's, had been there 20 years, whatever, 30, I don't know what it was. And we'd done breakfast at Brennan's, which was very successful. Well, in the 70s, our family split the business up. My dad had an older brother that passed away when we were opening Brennan's on Royal Street. Very young, 40-something years old, and had 3 sons. So he passed away. And so the brothers and sisters at that point, with my grandfather, opened Brennan's on Royal Street and continued it for years. Well, it had gotten to a point where the 3 sons and the widowed wife weren't really excited with the way the brothers and sisters wanted to grow the business, and they're like, our dad worked his ass off. We never saw him, and y'all are doing the same thing. We just want to enjoy a little bit more. And so that's when the concept came up. Look, y'all take the original Brennan's, and we had bought Commanders in 69. So this is 74. So Dad, Aunt Ella, my Uncle John, my Aunt Adelaide, and my Aunt Dottie move into Commanders. Just all of a sudden one day, instead of going Brennan's, they're in Commanders. And starting over. They had built something, and they had it because Commanders was dead. So they're trying to start over. And my dad with this, I want to be American. So instead of having a European chef, he's like, look, we all knew Paul. We're hearing about him. He's been around town cooking and stuff. Let's get him in here. He knows all the farmers and stuff, fishermen and stuff. So
Where is he from again? Lafayette area? Oh, Opelousas. Yeah.
Around, you know.
We're right around there.
So Paul comes to Commanders and, man, talk about, and that's what I'm saying, all my life when it comes to, the industry, I've been in the most incredible place at the most incredible time. So, I mean, he's my first chef mentor. I mean, I'm 13 or whatever back then.
I had no idea that that's what happened.
So,
like you guys
so
brought him in, you're like, oh, Commanders
was
is dying. Let's do something different. And this guy was kind of like wild.
Oh, I love him. He was a wild
yeah.
man.
He seemed like like a trip.
But
what
he's
was
the
he
most
like?
sincere person when it came to doing the job.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a purveyor, don't try to not bring in the best thing because that thing coming in my back door.
Amazing.
So he taught me a lot about quality and just, when you get to watch a person do their thing, it rubs off on you. And he just was, I'll never forget one time because we had, not where the kitchen is, not where the kitchen and the bar is today. We kept moving it. But at some point, we moved the bar into the old kitchen. And it's the summertime, and we would do turtle soup, and we'd do 40, 50 gallons.
The turtle soup, did that come from him?
I don't know if it was the Commander's recipe or his, or maybe he tweaked it or whatever, but that was the one that we were doing when Paul was there. That's the one that I learned. And
that's the one you guys still, to this day, is the recipe.
It's the one
that's the one that's the most famous, his recipe, no?
Oh, he has so many.
No, but like for the turtle soup.
I mean,
is that the one that ever, like that put it on turtle soup on the map?
Yeah. I mean, it's been acknowledged as being a real,
But because he's from Opelousas, he was cooking like wild game and he made redfish, like it was a scrap fish, like made that a thing. Wasn't he also trying to pioneer nutria?
Don't bring that up.
Get people to eat rat.
I had to help that. Well, what really was interesting, what was happening at Commanders is my dad, would walk to work. It's 2 blocks.
Yeah.
So he walks in one day and all the old guard French restaurants have trout amandine. And my dad walks in, Commanders, he goes, Paul, I've never seen an almond tree in my life, but I'm stepping on pecans. I mean, why can't we do trout pecan? So that was one of the first things at Commanders when we were trying to evolve. And people were like, the 20 people that came used to say, don't change anything. We're like, we're changing. We evolve. My dad always said, don't change for the sake of change. But if you're not evolving, you're dead. So, I mean.
Absolutely.
So that was them going, let's do trout pecan.
But also that's like, it's a local thing. Like pecans are huge down here.
What happened at Commanders was, it was the 70s and the 80s. They were a part of doing farm to table. Alice Waters at some point, and all the pioneers, the young chefs that old now today, but when they were starting that off, Jonathan Waxman, Jeremiah Tower. I mean, all of them, Larry Ford, they all would come to New Orleans. They wanted to hang out with Paul. And I mean, Alice Waters is literally going, where are you getting these shrimp? And he's like, from the boat. Because what had evolved over the years when you had the markets and you'd go get yourself, it became wholesalers that went and did the hard work for you and they just went and got and brought it to your door.
Right.
Well, we were all about, I want to go meet the person growing it. Mm-hmm. And that's what was great about Paul because he knew the farmers and he wanted to know the fishermen. And so, all those type of things were going on in the day-to-day, at Commanders. And it was a
So was hospitality like creating menus back then? Was it more just about like you said, like these French restaurants and they were doing these like certain dishes, but like you guys were all about local and sustainability? Like were you guys
it was all about what's in season, what's local,
seasonal,
and who was growing who was putting the effort in doing it the right way.
Right.
And so like today they're like, what's the difference between Creole and Cajun? And You know, I was with Liz Williams the other day, and oh my God, she's knows everything. And she's like, it's just one big thing now. All right.
What's
that
the
one
difference?
big thing? Well, nowadays, you hit on it. All the restaurants, the menus that you get at Gaucho's, that's the same menu they've had for 100 years. Commander's menu, every day there's a word of mouth special. Seasonally, we're changing the base menu.
Yes.
It changes.
It's true farm to
and
table.
we develop new dishes. Dad, Paul used to tell the story. He says the best and worst experience I had with your dad was we were so in the weeds, so busy one night at Commander's, and and he's sitting there trying to help expedite or whatever, and I'm trying to help. I'm on the cook side, which he didn't do that often, but he's in there, and as they're going through the process, your dad says to me, "You want to make a great dessert?" And Paul's like, "What?" And he's like, "Let's make a great dessert." And Paul's like, "Can I get out of the weeds first? And we can talk about making a great dessert."
Yeah.
He's like, "I'm just in the shits." And so my dad says, "Let's make a bread pudding souffle." And Paul's like, he says, "I heard you. Now shut the fuck up. We're getting out of the weeds." And he said, "Man, I couldn't get it out of my head." He said, "I went home and the whole night I just was how I was going to do." He says, "It just got real clear to me. I came in the restaurant in the morning. I did this, and I made the souffle. The first one I did, I was like, that's it." And I mean,
wow.
The whole thought was, we're all eating bread pudding. I mean, this is Commander's Palace. We're trying to be an ultimate experience. How do we take something to a new level? So, I mean, their commitment was to evolve. And I mean, what a winner bread pudding souffle has been.
Oh my gosh, that's what you go there for.
But that's what they would, so it was all about evolving. And so at this point.
Why was bread pudding so big? Why is that so big down here?
Because our bread lasts a day, French bread lasts about a day. So it was just like an
easy,
So nobody wanted to waste. And certainly generations ago, Depression, all that stuff. So, I mean.
That makes sense, okay.
You utilized everything. Yeah. I mean, Bananas Foster's was because we would always have bananas, and instead of them going bad, my grandmother would put sugar and cinnamon and broil them. And so they were going to do something for a group at the original Brennan's, but they had to sexy it up. So it was like, here, flambe it instead of doing the flambe it, put out some ice cream. And the guy they did it for was Richard Foster Awning Company. And he would eat in the restaurant at like 5 days a week for lunch. So this was in a party that was done for him, some committee he was overseeing for the French Quarter. So they had to do a luncheon. So they wanted to do a fun dessert for him. So the next day he's in the restaurant. He's like, "Do my dessert." So they kept doing it. I mean, it was
and they're banana like, "It's the Bananas Foster."
Eventually they were like, "That's Banana Foster. That's Mr. Foster's dessert."
That's amazing.
So I mean, it's been fun watching all that stuff.
Yeah. Just seeing the evolution of hospitality in New Orleans. I mean, what do you think of it? Because it's changed so much, like we said, since COVID. I mean, even since Katrina. What have you noticed with hospitality?
And it's not necessarily New Orleans, the whole world.
The whole world
got hit with this. It wasn't like a hurricane. I say all the time, I meet people and I'm like, "Well, where are you from?" Here in the city. And they're like, "Well, I'm from Detroit, but I've been here 40 years. And I always go, "Well, you're a New Orleanian." And they're like, "Thank you." And then I say to them, this is no negative thing against people born and raised here or whatever. I said, but some of the best New Orleanians I know were not born here. If you can go live wherever you want and you pick New Orleans, you must really love it. You see something, you're connected to it in a certain way. And I'm like that. I just value things and I've been fortunate. My dad made me go live in other cities around the world to learn before I came back to work with the family. So, old world cities, Paris, Italy, wherever, Mexico City. I got to see a lot of cultures, communities, and I never for a second, as much as I love visiting those places, have ever gone, I don't want to live in New Orleans. I just get it. It's the beauty
I
of
feel
it
the same
being
way.
a big, small city.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
It's the best part.
We're,
Like,
what? Not if you have to you have to include Jefferson, go all the way, every little fishing village to get us to 1 million people.
mm-hmm.
You know, when I lived in a Paris or something, I mean, that's New York, that's millions of people.
It's just too big.
You
It's
don't walk
almost
down
too
the street
big.
and
know someone.
make eye contact and
Yeah.
say and give them a hi.
I mean, that's why I settled here. Like, New Orleans just stole my heart, and I've been here 10 years, and I absolutely love it. And there's so
it's
many
a combination
people like
of
that.
stuff that just makes it such a unique city. I mean, there are not
Yeah.
many 300-year-old cities, you know, in America. So, I mean, we've got great history, culture,
Right.
and just the characters. It lends itself to people, you know, that want to live life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so, I mean, I feel real good when I'm in the city. It's a love-hate relationship because I want it to be great. So I get disappointed when, you know, when we have certain things going on in our community that, you know, certainly are a waste of energy. But
Yeah.
I still believe in it, and I think we could be a template for the world in showing people how you do get along.
But do you think that there has been, like, do you think hospitality has declined here?
So, all right, so, you know, to be as direct and as serious as I can be, since COVID, or even a little before COVID, we really hurt the French Quarter. New Orleans has a 250-mile drive-in clientele that we've had forever. And this is our great-grandfather would have put us in a car, drove from Birmingham, New Orleans, wherever, and to come experience what we have in the French Quarter. Certainly the restaurants, but it was the history, the architecture, the music, and I've never seen, you know, I've been in the Quarter for 30 years, and it's also people that live in the metropolitan. I've never had more people over the last 5 years where I say, I just don't go downtown anymore. Now, that's leadership enabling human beings that shouldn't be on the street, enabling them to be on the street. And here I'm a sidebar. Nobody loves animals more than me, and I've always had wonderful pets. We have figured out how to recover dogs. I mean, we know how to recover dogs.
Mm-hmm.
When are we going to start putting the effort into recovering humans? We walk by them every day, all day long.
Yep.
We as a community have not come up with a way to get these people off the street and get them in an environment that's healthy for them. But at the same time, people aren't coming to my restaurant because they're like, I just don't want to have to deal with that.
Yep.
I don't want to walk by that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm putting it out to the next generation. I'm putting it out to our new leadership. Let's do the hard work. And there's got to be a huge pent-up demand for people to want to come back to New Orleans. And it's been slow
Yeah.
for them to come back.
And I think
And I would say that's the number one reason.
Yeah. I think I never get, I absolutely know what you're saying. I never get like scared or like weirded out about being in the Quarter. But we wanted to feel safe, right? And we want people to always feel safe when they're going into the Quarter. And I think the media is also making it seem a lot scarier, and like it makes people not want to go into the Quarter as much, you know? And that's just going to be always with the media. Because I mean, since COVID, like going in, I've never felt like, oh, I can't go in there. I can't go to dinner.
Right.
I don't want to park. But it
Carla,
is.
I would say there's a difference between safety and looking at a human
Yeah.
that's laying on the street
Right.
that is
It's so sad.
almost dead. And we're Teflon and I think that's deep down is, you know, the crime and stuff like that, you know, that's let
one
police,
thing, yeah.
but I think the deep down and that's like I'm saying, we can recover dogs. When are we going to recover these humans? And I think that would be the biggest game changer for the French Quarter.
Yeah. So what did your failures teach you that success never could?
Who am I to judge? I really, I've gone through some things in life, and I used to be very opinionated when all of a sudden someone would say, "Oh, did you hear what so-and-so did?" And at this point in my life, I know there are two sides to every story, and the last thing I'm going to do is chime in on, "Oh, that's horrible, I'd never do that." Everybody is living a life and is on a path, and sometimes you get off the path and you either need help or you need time or whatever. But, at 65 years old, whatever, I really don't judge people anymore. I give them a lot of benefit for the doubt.
Yeah. And like being in the restaurant industry for so long and seeing, so much change, what is the biggest change you've noticed in the industry and the biggest challenge?
What I want to do is challenge the younger generation for them to define what hospitality is. I have a theory, and I think it's because, baby boomers, my generation, the way we raised our kids, and believe me, our intention was 100% good. But think about it. I grew up where I came home from school, I got on a bicycle, I played in the neighborhood, whatever, and I just had to be home when the sun went down to get dinner. My kids, we picked them up, we brought them to school, we picked them up. As soon as school was over, we took them to whatever activity. Then we took them to the next activity. Then they had to do this. And on Tuesdays, batting coach, and on Wednesday, soccer. Mm-hmm. We hovered and planned, and a lot of it was pressure to be succeeding in whatever. And I think a lot of it was what we wanted instead of the kid wanted. Yeah. And just the way we raised our kids.
Yeah, because you wanted them to get into things.
I think I'm looking at there's a ripple effect to anything you do in life. And so now I'm with this generation that went through all that. And, I don't know if it's building the self-esteem, giving them confidence or whatever, but I would never, if someone walked in the restaurant and said, and I said, "Do you have a reservation?" And they're like, "I'm sorry, we don't." My first thing would be, "Well, let me try to figure it out." I'm watching 20-year-old hostess, like, in the reaction, "Well, I mean, if you don't have a reservation, I don't know what I can do to help you."
It's lacking people skills.
Totally. So and what I really think is what I described as the way we managed and had control of our kids, that they want to do it their own way, is what I'm saying. I think because of that, the way the environment we created, they're like, "I'm not going to do it the way Dad did. I'm going to do it the way I want to do it." Mm. And it's a ripple effect everywhere. So when it comes to hospitality, they're like, "I'm not going to do it the way you did." Craft cocktails have the ripple effect of a craft cocktail is if you walk up to the bar and they're so busy they can't look at you because they have 30 steps to make this drink.
Right.
And they're in the weeds.
Yeah, they are.
And I have begged people for the last 10 years, and I'm like, peripheral vision. I said, someone. I said, all you have to do is you're making the drink, is just go.
I'll be with you in a minute. Hello.
At that point, the customer, the whole body has a whole reaction of, all right, the person acknowledged me and it's going to get to me.
Exactly.
Now I can relax and I can have a conversation with the other two people that I'm on the point to get the drink. And when you don't do that with me, instead of sitting with you, I'm going.
Yeah, you're a little upset. You're like, wait, am I supposed to be here? Going, yep. And you should never wait.
Can I get a drink? And so
it's
when
just
I see
simple
that,
thing.
when I see but I'm like going, I don't ever say you got to go do something. I always try to give a example or a potential solution with it. Let's try this. And I'm telling you, I can't get my crew to just give acknowledge.
Yeah, to
when
care.
they know they're in the, and I don't know, it's care. I think they're so, and I'm programmed in a different way to take care of a customer than I think nowadays. I mean, because I was treated a different way,
Yeah.
the way I was raised, so the way this generation's been raised, they're going to react different.
Yeah.
So I want to challenge them and I would say, y'all get in a room and y'all come up with what is the standards for hospitality.
I love that.
And the word no, I don't think should exist.
Mm-hmm.
So
How can I help you?
Let's figure it out.
Let's figure it out.
Thank you for walking by 1,000 restaurants and coming in ours.
Absolutely.
That's your reaction that I was trained. I mean, if someone walks in a restaurant and says, thank you. Thanks for choosing us. And it doesn't, and that's
and my biggest pet peeve
is how I'm going to react throughout the whole thing.
Right. And my other biggest
Glad
pet
you
peeve is when you're leaving a restaurant and they don't say thank you, have a good day, or have a good night.
Yeah,
when they don't acknowledge you leaving as well. And I know growing up in hospitality as well, and I lived in Chicago, worked in hospitality, and you know how to treat guests. Like I learned from the best. And
Look,
I'm not.
You see them coming and you walk your ass around the thing, you go up,
I'll even
it's
be
another greet, and then you walk them the door, you open the door for them, and
you're in someone's house.
I hope to
Think
see
of it
you
like
soon.
that. Like
It's those little things, and so a lot of that has gone by the wayside. Which
I did a viral video talking about this because it's been really on my mind and my friends' minds of like that the way people are being treated when they walk into establishments. And I had a lot of haters just coming at me like, you don't know anything, you think you're entitled, we're worn down, we don't make enough money, we don't have enough staff. And I'm like, sorry guys, why are you in hospitality then? If you can't just lift your head and say hello and greet someone, then you should not be in hospitality. It's like that doesn't mean anything to do with not being paid. That's a whole nother, issue.
I don't know, for someone to have that reaction, there's something going on that they need to go dig down, peel back a bunch of layers and figure out why they're going to react that way. I mean, you and I's intention is one thing, to be nice and to take care of a person that's a customer.
Yep. And be better.
And, you and I can't, I mean, every day I hope that the industry evolves and becomes a healthier industry. And I don't stay awake at nighttime going, I've taken advantage of my team and all that stuff. All I do is try to figure out how to make it a better environment. Mm-hmm. But if they think that's the industry, then that's a shame.
What does it take to be a leader? Were you a natural leader? Or did you have to learn to be a leader?
As like with sports and stuff, I mean, I didn't want to be on the stage, but I loved being on a team and trying to be competitive and stuff like that. And I think it just naturally evolved into, I was growing up with the family. That's like I was going to, Paul Prudhomme, we're in the kitchen with the bar, and he walks up behind me, gives me a little goose, and he's like in my ear, and I'm chopping, and he's behind me, and he says, everybody's looking at you. And I'm like, what? Why? He said, you're the boss's son. He said, you got to do it better than anybody. You need to do the best.
So much pressure.
I had so many, but again, I trusted him. We had a relationship to where he could tell me something like that because it wasn't going to be a negative thing. It was going to be the push I needed. You always need pushes. And,
right.
And I trusted, I knew why he was doing it because he was sincere and he wanted me to be successful.
Yeah.
But with a leader, I always get asked, what makes a great leader? And I've known a lot of very successful leaders that can accomplish, to get things, incredible things, make the company, whatever. Mm-hmm. Those are successful. A great leader is a person that has good intentions. If you have good intentions you're really doing what you should be doing.
Yeah.
You should be leading, because there's a difference between a successful leader and a great leader. And I've got to say, most of the people that I've been connected with, that have been my mentors, they were sincere and they wanted to do it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And their intentions were
Because if
not
it's
to
about
screw
money,
anybody, not to
power,
make
screw people over.
not to do a quickie with it. It was all about, I'm doing what I know I need to do and what's best. And
Yeah. And then you have that longevity and you have that good reputation and good energy.
But you have people that look up to you, admire you, and trust you.
Absolutely.
And they follow you.
Yep.
And then
you find those right people.
You can say there are other people, and you're like going, what a tool.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So good intentions.
Good intentions. If you had to start over in New Orleans today with no name recognition, what would you do first?
Like a young person, like getting into me?
You're not a Brennan.
Damn, I never really thought of that. I mean,
You think you would be in
I'm very aware of what my life has been. And, I believe I'm aware of it. I'm very grateful. I never take it for granted. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I'm very grateful for that. And I think because of all that, and as much as I've loved it, I think I've worked hard. I don't know. You make me realize how blessed and fortunate I am, because it certainly, the door I got to walk through was special.
Mm-hmm. I bet you would still just be doing this. Like you would be doing hospitality, restaurants.
If let's just say my family wasn't in the restaurant, my mom and dad were just great parents.
And support.
Yeah, I mean, but they taught me things, My dad, Saturday, he'd take off Saturday during the day, work Saturday. But, and we had bought this old house in 1967, and it's all 7 years old, in the Garden District. And it was so run down. And so every Saturday we'd take on some project, to try to do something in the house or fix a drain that had been clogged for 100 years. And every kid in the neighborhood's run, playing or whatever. And, we had the brick sidewalk in the front with the grass. And so that was one of the things we'd always, and, we're like finishing up, and Miss Hawkhurst, who's 100 years old next to us, who hadn't been outside in 20 years, my dad's like, let's do hers. And I'm like, and the last thing I was going to say is, I want to go play basketball around the corner, because I wanted to be with him, whatever. And, we had this old fence that had so many coats of paint on it. And so one of my sons was, let's scrape the thing. And I was a teenager then. I was maybe 15, 16. So the first section, I mean, I'm out there with the scrape, and I scrape it all the way down to the metal and paint it, and he's coming and going like, man, that looks great. Well, like I get to another section and I half-ass it and paint it, and he comes back and he's like, seriously? I wanted to go with some people water skiing, and it's, and I half-assed it so I could go with this buddy of mine that wanted me to go skiing with him. And I was so embarrassed, that I was trying to pull that off. And he, believe me, wasn't a mean. I respect him so much, and that's what I'm saying, great leaders, that when he was like, are you serious? I was like, it's not my best, is it?
Yeah, it's not your best.
So y'all have fun skiing and finish, doing it the right way. It took me an entire summer. You can't believe how big this fence was.
When you like drive through New Orleans and there's so many like old historical buildings and restaurants that have been around for so long, or then someone takes it over to make sure that legacy continues, and because it's so important. When you acquired Pascal Manale in 2023, why did you decide to take over that restaurant? Was it because of the legacy?
Well, I mean, I think anybody that has I call them institutes. I mean,
Yeah, it's an institution, right?
one, there are not many cities that have a 100-year-old restaurant. Even in Europe, this city probably has more 100-year-old restaurants than most cities in the world.
Right.
You know, that so, and so I was 9 when we bought Commanders, which was one of these institutes. I mean, prior to that, Brennan's was a new restaurant compared to the old guard. And my experience with that restaurant being dead, and then the way our family evolved it and all that stuff, I have a very unique appreciation for these institutes. And then in '97, when I did my company, you know, I wasn't, you know, my dad sold out of Commanders, so it'll always be part of my family, but I was not an owner. So to be able to do it for a second time, and with my kids and my niece and nephew, for them to have the experience that I had, what a gift. So, I mean,
Yeah.
and, you know, we loved Pascal. I was very close to the family, and
Which is the home of the barbecue shrimp.
they created barbecue.
They created
shrimp.
barbecue shrimp, one of my favorite dishes. But it's not barbecue.
Yeah.
So why did it get that name?
Well, it was a friend of the owner was up in New York and had this dish and a shrimp. And the way he described it, he said it was this brown, beautiful, savory that looked like barbecue. And so when they did it at Pascal Manale's with the butter and all, they said, you know,
Let's call it barbecue
it's called
shrimp.
barbecue shrimp because it looked like barbecue.
But
I
at
mean,
the
my God,
time,
it's a butter
barbecue wasn't
sauce.
barbecue.
No, it's a butter sauce. There's nothing barbecue about it other than it looked, for this guy that encouraged them to make the dish,
Yeah,
that it looked barbecue or something like that.
that's amazing.
Isn't that crazy though? But the last time my dad could go out, that I took him out to a restaurant in his wheelchair, it was me, my brother, a handful of my friends with a couple of his buddies, and we went to Pascal's. And so we had a great lunch there, and someone took a picture of it. I haven't. I just can't figure out where to put it in the restaurant, but it's the last. I mean,
You haven't hung it yet?
we always loved Pascal's.
Yeah. Just growing up, you always went there.
To be the next chapter, we're going to take it very serious because it's just, we don't own it. It's just our turn to take care of it. And, you know, we want it to evolve. Want to leave it better than we found it. And so that fell in our lap. And I'm telling you, I'm the luckiest. I know how fortunate I've been.
Well, I think the city is so fortunate to have someone like you who cares so much,
Thank you.
and understands the importance of like what you need to do for the city and care for it. Like the love.
This city's been great to my family.
Right.
And I think it's easy for us, me, my cousins, all of us, to give back and want it to be a great city because we're very grateful for what it's done to us.
Mm-hmm. What's in it?
Bunch of Irish immigrants living in Irish Channel, bartenders. And look at us.
Look at you now.
And, you know, I don't know if you can say things like this now, but God bless America.
Yeah, God bless America. We never had these
who
opportunities.
would ever think that?
Nope.
I mean, that my life could have has played out the way it has.
I know, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's
I
crazy.
think the same thing. Like I get to work for myself and do what I love and care for a community. It's a beautiful thing. What is what establishment that you own that you're most proud of?
You say, what is my favorite child?
Asking.
You can't do that.
You can't do it.
because they were my children. And
I get
it's
it.
just like, my daughter Sarah, I'd be going, "You're killing it, you're doing great," and all this stuff. And my son, I'm like, "What the hell's wrong with you?" A month later, I'm like, "Richard, you're doing great." And I'm looking at Sarah going, "Is there a problem here? What the hell's wrong?" So, I mean, they're living, they have their moments.
Yeah.
And I don't think I could ever, I mean, everybody's been giving me, they've been saying, we really are excited that we get to be the next chapter of Pascal. And they're all like, "That's your favorite, isn't it?" And I'm like, "No, but I'm excited. It's my new baby."
Yeah. Are you going to be doing any changes there? Like, I know you talked about evolving, but you were...
So my God, we had done inspections before we bought it, so we knew. So, the first week we had to replace the entire roof.
Okay. But besides
then we were going to
that...
do cosmetic. So we go to do whatever that had problems with the wallpaper, and the person said, and so I said, "In a month it's going to do the same thing as the old one." And we're like, "Why?" And they're like, "Well, you got a problem with moisture or something or whatever." There was no, so what do we have to do? So, well, you have to go in the walls and put in so then it took with the city, because it's historic, we wanted to take the siding off the street side, and it took forever. Well, we finally got to do that. As we go in to do it, to put in then we discover there's termites. So
Oh, Lord.
a week later, there's a tent on the building. Then we fix all that, do all that stuff. So now the dining rooms have been redecorated. We moved both of the bathrooms recently. Took months, but so we have brand new bathrooms. We're doing the same thing in the kitchen.
So cosmetically, you're like making it beautiful.
So
And taking care of it, making sure it's
right
functioning.
Right.
But what about the menu?
Yeah, very slowly, but definitely. We're certainly we're putting a new effort right now into some of the, like presentations. Nowadays,
Making sure
the
that
younger
looks nice.
culinarians are artists and have always been, but what it looks like. So, we don't want to be wow kind of, but we want to, instead of just a bunch of iceberg lettuce on a plate with one cherry tomato,
You guys do specials?
Yes.
Oh, I have a good special idea. We should do it.
All right.
In the Northeast, in Buffalo, and
Right.
most every menu, you're going to see a stuffed banana pepper.
Love banana
We
peppers.
should do that.
Yeah.
It's Italian.
At Brennan's of Houston, I did one with crawfish. It was good.
No crawfish in this one.
No, not at Manale's. But I'm saying I did that because we were doing Texas Creole, so I did crawfish in it. But
Okay, so what's Creole-Italian to you?
well, one, the Italians there were two big migrations into New Orleans way back, and both of them came from Sicily. So we're really Sicilian.
Right.
The
It's mainly
influence.
Sicilian. Yeah.
So I always like studying, so I've done a lot of research with true Sicilian dishes. And we're slowly trying to see something that maybe doesn't exist today, that how can we put it, and we always say Creolize it. I don't want it to be what you would have in Rome. I want it to be something that they did in Rome that has a Creole
But what's a
twist to it.
Creole twist? Or is it just
It's
meaning the seafood?
So it's like when I opened the steakhouse, I said I wanted to Creolize a steakhouse. It's going to be a steakhouse. But like every steakhouse has a tomato, onion, cheese appetizer. So, no, the blue cheese, tomato, whatever. So I was with a friend, and I was almost open. I was opening developing the steakhouse, and they took me to Ruth Chris just to get me away. And so I'm sitting there, and he orders the tomato blue cheese salad. He says, "Bring me a side of remoulade." So,
Are we talking about like a wedge salad?
yeah. So every salad, it wasn't the wedge, but it was blue cheese tomato. I mean,
Okay.
steakhouse in general have a tomato with a cheese.
With iceberg, or you're just talking just tomato cheese?
Tomato, blue cheese is what he was having.
Okay.
So there's nothing more New Orleans than a red remoulade. So I go back and I take a slice of tomato. I put some blue cheese on top, another slice of tomato on top. Then I put some onions on top of that. So it had the blue cheese, and then I put remoulade dressing over the blue cheese,
So
dressing.
you pretty much made a creolized caprese salad.
Exactly. You say it better than I do. Thank you. So, I mean, there's always ways, just Creole seasoning, So what we've done recently at Manale's is I have my Creole seasoning, which is maybe more of a French flavoring. But we're working on a Creole-Italian seasoning that will have a lot of the similar stuff that we have, but it's going to have something. It's going to be oregano. It's going to be something that makes it more Italian. Like Italian seasoning blend, we're going to make a Creole-Italian.
That's what I'm saying.
So it's going to have some cayenne, it's going to have the red. It'll have a little paprika and stuff like that to make it look like a
Okay, so
Creole.
this is so interesting because it's hard to explain that. What is Creole-Italian? So that was interesting what you said. Because it's how do you explain it? I was talking to Lisa Mosca, and it's like, well, it's a little heartier. I feel like the Creole-Italian down here, right? A little more heavier food.
Like Lisa, and, my dad's from the Irish town, my mother's from St. Bernard, so I can't speak right. I mean, it's just, I can't help it.
Neither can I.
I say Mosca, and I know Lisa and them hate that I say Mosca. I'm one of those guys. So when I was developing the menu at Palace Café, at Commander's, we had lightened up trying to do an elegant oyster appetizer. And so basically we took fresh up shucked oysters and we would reduce them in a pan with heavy cream. And it was just, once they started curling, they went on the plate, 6 perfectly poached oysters with a little bit of the cream, and we put some of the caviar on top of them.
Ooh.
So that was oysters truffon. Then I'm looking at an old style, and I loved oyster Mosca, but it's baked oysters with a lot of breadcrumbs, and you have the rosemary, and you've got a lot of olive oil drizzled over, but it's kind of heavy with all the breading.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a layer of breading over the oyster.
It's really a stuffing.
So I took the small little casson pots, pans, not the casson, the other metal pans, and I would start, the dish started with putting the oysters in the pan with a little oyster liquor, and I had taken heavy cream that I reduced with rosemary and some garlic. And so that cream hit the pan with the oysters in it, and as they're curling, I took the Italian breadcrumb and I sprinkled it on top of the oysters, just to have a little layer of that. And then I'd flash it and gratinate that cheese and breadcrumbs on top of the curled up poached oysters, and I called it oyster pan roast.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
And it was a signature at Palace.
Yeah.
But it was, looking at 2 different things, and I mean,
Yeah, it's like just your interpretation of it. It's like this fusion. Like, how are you going to...
And I like the creativity part, but we all have a tendency when we're younger to be like a mad scientist, and you're like, wow, what's that shit? So I used to, with my shit, when I was doing specials and stuff like that, I would say, look, here are the boundaries. I don't want salmon. It doesn't swim in any water near me.
Yeah, keep it local.
And there are plenty of fish out there. I mean, our family with redfish became a staple. And so, I mean, I'm like, work within boundaries, but I'm like, push the boundaries.
Yeah.
And that's when I think we had at Palace, we had the Palace potato pie, which basically I was at some conference in Miami, and I got a shepherd's pie just sitting there in between meetings. I was like, damn, I need to have some kind of shepherd's pie here at Palace. I mean, my clientele at lunch was everybody coming from the office building one day. And so I did, and everybody loved it. Well, it was in a 4-pit bake. It just wasn't real. So I had this great sous chef, and he was bitching about it. I said, look, I said, just replate it a different way. Figure out how to make it look different, but everybody loves it. So that's when metal rings started appearing, which I love metal rings. So
yeah, make the presentation.
So we took
look
the
nice.
same ingredient. I mean, we put in our shepherd's pie. It was couchon de lait. So we had the roasted pork first layer. This is inside the metal pit.
Right.
Then we put in some spinach. We put in a layer of the mashed potatoes, and we put the cheese on top, which we would put under the broiler, heat it up, and then you took off the metal ring and you had these beautiful layers. This is shepherd's pie. And it enabled us to put this incredible onion gravy, because in the 4-pit bake, you couldn't put a sauce.
That's more like a Cajun pie.
Going, dude, instead of us getting rid of it, you just created something by, making it look great. And we added another ingredient.
And cochon de lait,
I always want to encourage the creativity, because something like that was such a win.
Yeah.
But when you're doing that, you're also going to get a lot of this mad science and stuff, and you're like going, where are you going?
It didn't
I
work.
can't put that shit out there.
What's a dish you're most proud of?
Our family did banana foster. We did white chocolate bread pudding. And when we were 10 years old, I did 10th anniversary cookbook, and the guy that sold me the white chocolate bread pudding had added up how much we had bought from him. It was 32 tons.
Oh my gosh.
That was 10. And I've never tried to figure out how much we went through in 30 years, but that just impressed, I was like, damn, that's a lot of.
And what bread are you guys using in the bread pudding?
Leidenheimer. Mm-hmm. The day-old Leidenheimer bread.
Day-old.
But it's a very, white chocolate, they're different degrees. The white chocolate I used was a real premium, very expensive white chocolate. So what I've always said, I'm glad we created this. It's just unfortunate I have the most expensive bread pudding in the city, cost-wise.
Yeah. Hey, but that makes it so special.
Hey, it's a win.
If you're going to make it the best, right?
It's a win.
Okay, let's do a quick fire, rapid fire. So I'm going to answer questions, just answer them. All right. What is your favorite restaurant in New Orleans that's not yours? That you like to eat at?
I just did this. Now I'm my mind's like, what did I say when someone did, the guy that goes around and does the rapid fire. Favorite?
Yeah, like where do you like to go? What's like one of your top restaurants that you like to go?
Shit, in New Orleans?
Yeah.
My favorite?
Can't say.
It's like asking it's my favorite child.
No, I get that. But I'm just saying, like, what comes to your mind? Like, what's one of your favorite restaurants?
That's not mine?
That's not yours.
Commander's Palace.
What's one dish every visitor must try in New Orleans?
Whatever's in season. No. New Orleans dish. I know you want me to rapid fire, but man, it's just not happening right now.
It's okay.
Dish you have that's New Orleans, it's unique.
Like if you're not you've never been to New Orleans, you have to get this dish when you're in town. What is it? Beignet, charbroiled oysters.
Beignets.
The chalmadine.
I'm going to say gumbo.
Gumbo. Where's your favorite gumbo?
Probably seafood.
Seafood? Where do you like getting seafood gumbo? In the city?
Frank Brightson.
I still haven't tried his.
He's, Frank and Susan are, we always say, who's like the living, I call him godfather, godmother, whatever. He is definitely the godfather of New Orleans food. And I totally changed how I learned how to make gumbos because of him.
Wow. Now you're making me like I need to go eat there right away. I still can't believe I haven't been there yet. Okay, what's the most overrated trend in the hospitality industry?
Shit. I hated school when I had to take tests.
Or what's the most
Trend.
overrated food trend? Like Dubai chocolate, foam. I don't know.
You know, I raised my eyes to foam, but I've got to say, over a couple of years, I've had some foam that works.
I know.
What's a crazy trend right now? I mean, there are a lot of them, huh?
All right, should we go next?
I mean, I'm going to flunk this. I have
No, I was
flunked.
just curious. It's just fun to see what you're going to say. All right.
Don't ask me what my favorite is.
I'm not. Okay. But I'm going to ask you, what's the best advice you've ever received? Okay. No answer. Okay.
Best advice. Jesus. Man, I'm not going to be like, do you?
Okay, that's okay. We don't have to answer it. But I want to be, because we're running out of time, but I do want to talk to this about you because I think a lot of people in New Orleans would love to hear your opinion. So we drive by the Claiborne Bridge all the time, and you have talked about some really cool things that you would hope to happen with the Claiborne Bridge. You go there at night, there's some food trucks, food vendors, people are eating under the bridge. What do you think about the Claiborne Bridge?
Well, I do think food can connect people more than anything else. We have to eat. The history of Treme and the bridge going and all that stuff, I mean, you know, how can we turn that into a positive? And years ago when I first went to Borough Market in London,
Which is incredible.
and I would fly to London and just go to the Borough Market for 3 days in a row.
Me too.
It's so phenomenal. So I've always had stuck in the back of my head that that a great farmers market. You know, we have the Crescent City markets, but the Black community has certainly regional and stuff. There's a group, I think a lot of them are related, that farm oysters. So they cover every category, raising pigs, whatever.
Yeah.
If we help the Black farmers create, and I would say put it by farm Circle, what's the grocery store? Circle, the grocery store under the Claiborne over.
Are you talking about the
Franklin.
Cajun seafood?
No, under the overpass, and you've got the Circle food store. It's right
Circle-
there by
Circle Mart. Okay.
I thought
Circle
you knew.
Market?
No, it's an old Circle Market. It's an old.
Okay.
It's been because.
I think of the Cajun market. It's literally called Cajun seafood.
Oh yeah.
I'm thinking that,
I know.
but
It's on the other
okay.
side. It's down. It's old or whatever.
okay.
Because to me, you know, I think what's missing with a lot of
Circle Food Market. Okay, so say it again.
I think I'm thinking of the business part of these markets. That if you're showing up and you're not selling it, if there's something right there that can take whatever you have and then turn it into whatever, pickled or preserves or what, that it'll help markets today be more successful and encourage more farmers to come without the risk of knowing that whatever's on my truck, I'm gonna get something for it. It's gonna get value enhanced. So I'm thinking there.
Because they would be beautiful.
But I would do, instead of I would do more of like a Treme theme to this market.
Yeah.
Picture someone with a pickup truck, and I mean stacked high. Mustard greens, collard greens, turnips, whatever. So you walk up and you see this that's just come out of a field. Then you have a battery, kind of like the way we boil crawfish, but have some sort of a cooker. And you might want to have a battery with 2 or 3 of them, because there's going to be someone in there that has started to cook the greens. You've got your vegetables going with it. One might be vegan. One might
be
start
seafood
with a bunch of pork in it.
Yep.
Or whatever. And so you're watching these greens get cooked, smothered, get cooked down. Next, somewhere you have the hog farmer with, how much do we do with a pig? From bacon to shanks to whatever, to going into gumbos, to going into the smothered greens in the corn. Then you've got a cornbread thing going on, fresh corn, but someone's baking cornbread. I mean, basically,
we have
kala. Basically, if you're not going to get the fresh because you want to cook at home, you're getting prepared that you want, or someone just showing up visiting, and it's like, I just got a whole plate. I've got these smothered greens. It's classic Southern New Orleans Treme cooking, all the different ingredients. And I mean, then you build in the seafood. You have the oysters there.
Yep, all different food, but food market.
But everyone's
cooking their own
a
meals.
lot of stuff that came out of Treme. I mean, the history of Treme is phenomenal.
It is.
And certainly
oldest African-American neighborhood in the nation.
The first and the oldest. And if we, New Orleans can legitimately say that we're a cuisine. We qualified it. We're in a category where we're an actual cuisine. And a big part of that is what came out of Treme and the Black community.
Right.
But there's nowhere in America that you can say there's New York cuisine, there's San Francisco. They don't have it.
Nope.
We're the only, and it's from all these different cultures that came together. And I think the key, and one of the most magical ones, is Treme.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I envision it like I could see it all being, murals all over the pillars with art, and then have just the lineup of just all the different seafood you can pick up, the produce you can pick up, but then also just food market and live music, and just really make it a fun cultural experience that truly highlights the beauty of what Treme is. We should make this happen.
Go for it.
Let's do it. You do it. Dickie, I'll follow your lead.
I'm there to support you.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
I'm still trying to get over that I couldn't answer one of your questions.
That's okay.
One of my favorites.
I mean, they're kind of like things. If someone tried to ask me these, I think I'd have to really think about them as well.
I mean, it's just not fair in this city. It's like your favorite poor boy. I'm like, what neighborhood?
Oh yeah, when people ask me that, I'm like, well, I'm not answering that. What category are we in?
I'm like,
is this a po' boy? Is it a pickup?
What
is
neighborhood?
it seafood? What neighborhood? That's my number one thing. People are like, where should we go out to dinner? What neighborhood? Doesn't matter. What do you mean it doesn't matter? I think it matters.
I'm big on what's in season.
Yeah.
That drives me a lot to go somewhere because, why eat a frozen soft shell crab?
Yeah.
I can wait until they're fresh.
Yeah. Got to get it from Galleys during Jazz Fest. Mwah.
Damn, that's good stuff.
It is good stuff.
Good living.
Yeah. We live great, Dickie. Look at us.
Quality of life in New Orleans is very special. If
it's your thing.
If it's your thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just got to call
Not
you.
for everybody.
It's definitely not for everybody. But it captured this Buffalo girl, so I'm here to stay.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love that you're here. So.
It's such an honor to have you on my show. Thank you so much for coming on.
Well, it's been
and
my pleasure.
We're gonna have to do this again.
Oh, cool.
All right. And we're gonna talk about Pascal Manale.
Yeah, we're getting there.
We're getting there. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time.